Still Asleep Guy Barbecue is here this morning. It is a gorgeous Friday morning. We are preparing for the meet and greet tomorrow. Today we do the cooking. We're going to be using a little bit different technique to preparing our food. So we're going to show you cooking today. All we have here is 2 Boston butts, pork shoulders, roasts, however you want to call them. Everybody calls them something different. I have prepared them a little bit ahead of time. Just a little. Shush, recording, quiet please in the set. Yeah, thank you. I'll show you that in just a second. First we gotta glove up. Safety first when you're a doctor. Yeah, that's what it is. Safety first, doctor. Of course, big shout out to the sponsor of the channel, of course, Coolie Cards and Gaming and Gamer Sanctum, our favorite places to play and the best deals around. I haven't done a lot to prepare these. I've just taken off the big fat caps, as you can see. We do want to leave a lot of the fat because that will render down into the meat to give us our juiciness, but I have taken off the heaviest part of the fat cap because that'll partially prevent our flavors from penetrating the meat. It's also kind of hard to chew through. Yuck. And this one actually had some skin, so we took that off as well, but you can see there's still lots of fat for giving us our flavor. And I'm going to show Stammer Fab a little something with that later on as well that he'll appreciate. For those of you that are bacon lovers, you'll also appreciate that. Binding agent, yellow mustard, nothing crazy. We're not going to go overboard with the yellow mustard. Just a little bit of mustard to help us hold our dry rub to the meat as we get into this. Like again, I said nothing crazy. I just want to give it a little bit of love, rub it in. We're not going to be doing any tallows like we did with our last video from the beef brisket, so we don't need to save too much of that stuff. But again, like I said, we got something special that we're going to be doing. I'll show you that a little bit later on in the video. There's not going to be a whole lot else that we're going to need to do with these guys. As far as the trimmings go, they're probably going to go to the dogs, most of them. Some of them will be going for something else, but we'll show you that later. All right, a little bit of mustard on there just to give us a bind, and pork likes mustard pretty good, so we're using that. We've got our own dry rub that we made ourselves, our usual suspects of paprikas, garlic powders, things like that. We did add boy, the brain does not function this early in the morning. Brown sugar, because I like doing brown sugar with pork shoulders. Many people don't, and they say, oh, you're taking away the flavor. It does this, it does that. I like brown sugar. It gives us a little bit of crust on the outside. It also gives us a little bit of sweet flavor to this to counteract our cayenne peppers that we're using to give us a little bit of sweet to go along with that heat. Brown sugar is a little bit harder to use when it comes to doing dry rubs because, as you can see, it doesn't like to come out of the shaker very well. I might need your help. No, hold on. I don't like using this dirty glove to do this, so there we go. We're going to take it right out of here this way because I made it the night before and it makes it a little bit harder to get out of the shaker. As you guys know how much brown sugar likes humidity. Even when you keep it in a seal-tight container or like a, what do you call it, the Tupperware, it still likes to get sticky, come out in lumps. But we'll make it happen, Captain. We give it a fairly good coating of that stuff. Get it all patted in there. Now we've got salt and pepper, of course, and again we've got a Cajun sort of a cayenne thing going on with our dry rub with this. We've got just a touch of heat in it. We don't want to go crazy with the heat. Usually salt, pepper, garlic is enough. We'll let our meat and our smoke do the talking for our dry rubs. But I like to do something a little different, a little special, just to set it off a little bit. And when we do our dry rubs, a lot of times we don't have to worry about getting too much external flavor in here, if you want to say it that way, because You can sauce these if people say, wow, we need more flavor. We want a barbecue sauce. You go right ahead. Usually, as you guys know, it's kind of like putting steak sauce on a steak. If you cook it right, it don't need anything else. But if people like to have that stuff, we got that available. In fact, we made our own barbecue sauce for this cook today. We'll have available. We also got some store-bought stuff in case people are not as adventurous and want to go with something that they know. We like using Sweet Baby Ray's. That's a nice store-bought one that we know, we love, we like, we trust. Oh, geez, these are heavy. Now each one of these is about 9 pounds. See what I mean? That stuff just comes out like it's going out of style. That's pretty good for that one. Let's get some on this one. Now again, these are each probably about 9 pounds pre-cut. We didn't take a lot off of them, probably less than a half a pound come off each one. There's not a whole lot to talk about as far as that goes. Ooh, that one came out in a lump too. There we are. I think our cook time on these as far as the smoking itself goes is probably going to be in the neighborhood of 6 hours. Could be a little bit less, could be a little bit more. Having a little trouble finding my external temperature probe. We're going to have to go in the house and look for that or nothing else. I've got a couple of new ones in the house we're going to have to bust out. We'll get to that later on. We'll talk about what temperatures we're looking for, why we're looking for the temperatures we are, and what we're going to do from there. The problem we've got, okay, is we're not going to be eating until tomorrow. Okay? So this poses a little bit of a concern. Because normally I like to cook day of. And that would pose the problem for me of, okay, if I'm cooking day of, that means I got to be up at like 4 o'clock in the morning to go out to the shop, lug all my smokers and everything out to the shop, which, by the way, we don't have a smoker at the shop anymore. We just got our gas grill out there. And you'll see that tomorrow once it's time to go out there and finish these dishes off. There, we got a nice, good coating. Not crazy coating, but a good coating of on there. The problem I'll run into is trying to do that at 4 o'clock in the morning and spending all day out there. By 10 o'clock at night when we're doing our fireworks and celebrations and finishing off our day out there, Barbecue Man's going to be pretty tired. So the theory today is we're going to cook these today. We're going to do something that I've never actually tried before. And we're going to do an overnight rest on these. So we're going to get them up to temperature where we like them to be normally. Normally we'd do a 2 or 3 or 4 hour rest on them depending on how long it takes for their temperature to come down to where we want to pull them. And then we would pull them at that temperature and then serve them. Well, we're not going to do that. So we're going to be putting them to temperature, wrapping them, getting them to where we want them to be on the smoker, pulling them off the smoker, coolering them, letting them come down to temperature, refrigerating them, and then tomorrow we're going to be taking them to the shop, putting them on the gas grill, still wrapped, bringing them back up to temperature, then letting them cool in the cooler, letting them come down to temperature where we want to pull them, and then pulling them tomorrow and then serving them. That's the theory. Never tried that before. Come on over to the smoker. We're using our horizontal smoker like we normally do. We've already got the fire lit. We've already got it coming up to temperature. We're at about 150 degrees today, right now. Hickory's already on. The smoke's already blowing. We want to get to about 250, and that's about where we're going to cook today. Hoping, like I said, 6 to 8 hours. These things, as you know, they're done when they're done. We're going to be shooting for 180, 190 degrees before we're going to wrap them. We're going to wrap them, put them back on the smoker, get to about 205 probably in that neighborhood. Hopefully I can find my probe so we can monitor that a little bit easier. And then we're going to pull them off, still wrapped, wrap them up in blankets or towels, cooler them, and then put them away for the night. Once they get down to 140 or less, after they've been wrapped, we're going to put them away, keep them chilled overnight so we have food safety, and then bring them out in the morning and start warming them up again. So let's head on back over to Frankencart. I'm going to move these out of the way so we can get them on the grill when the grill is ready. Meantime, they can sweat a little bit, let that salt do its thing. We'll talk about these trimmings. Like I said, most of the trimmings we're not going to be using for meat, for tallows and things like that. But this is going to be something special for Stammer Fam. As you can see, that's skin as far as I'm concerned. We did trim that off. So what we're going to do later on is we're going to take that and we'll probably make a little bit of basic dry rub for this. We're actually going to smoke this. Because to me this is almost like a pork belly. We're going to make a chicharron, or almost like a pork belly, and make a, lack of a better term, we're going to make bacon out of that for you. Some of this other stuff isn't so savable. We'll probably just cut that up for the dogs. But we got a couple pieces there. We're going to try to make a little snack for Stammer Fam to have today later on. I know he appreciates his bacon, so we're going to do that for him. There isn't a whole lot else to do other than to cook these. We'll show you the steps as far as wrapping goes. Otherwise, it's going to be a whole lot of sit and wait. So we'll catch up with you guys as the day goes on and let you know how things are going. All right, so as I promised Stammer Fam, these are the skins, if you will, that we took off. Now, just to show you, this stuff is pretty tough. I did sharpen my knife a little bit before I started doing this, but you can see this stuff's fairly tough to cut through. I'm going to put this in the dog's dish, but this stuff's fairly tough to cut through. So what we're going to do is I took a lot of this stuff, the trimmings that I took off of those fat caps, and we've got a cast iron pan on the grill that we're on the smoker. We're just going to fry this up and give it to the dogs because, you know, dogs need treats too. Jeez, yeah, it's not easy to cut through this stuff. So I'm going to attempt. I know it's not true chicharrones because those are deep fried and they're in Puerto Rico and they're really yummy. I've never had them. Try to find a restaurant that makes them. They're amazing. Yeah, they're incredible. You got friends that make Puerto Rican food. It's absolutely incredible. Oh, we're losing a little heat and smoke too. But on my attempt that I'm going to do, I'm going to try to make something that resembles bacon. Make this just for Stammer Fam. We're going to try to soften this stuff up and make it into something that's edible. We've got some dry rub that we've made for another dish. We're going to do another video. Just going to give it a light dusting. Just to see if we can make something that... This kid's a baconaholic, gang. I'm not going to lie to you. His idea of a food group is bacon. His second food group is bacon.
It is.
His third group is bacon. And behind that, you might have bacon. So we're just going to give it a little dusting, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this to the smoker. We're literally just going to put it right up on the rack and smoke it. I don't know how long it's going to take. Doesn't really matter. We're going to be cooking for a long time with our main dish, which is the pork shoulder. We're going to give it a try and see what we can make out of it. We'll see what happens. You know, guys, we like to experiment a lot here, and we certainly don't like to waste food. If we just threw that away, it'd be like wasting it. So we're going to give it a try. We'll show you what it looks like as part of a bonus footage of this video. Stick around. Well, things don't always go according to plan. The video for the skins did not get out, wasn't able to get it out of my phone. And I don't know why, but there it is. Anyway, we smoked those for a couple of hours and they turned out pretty incredible. The kid ended up eating all of them. I did get to sample them and they were pretty good. So unfortunately that video is gone forever. But rest assured they came out great. So there's probably going to be more interruptions in this video, so stick around. So as I'm editing these videos, I did have to make a little interjection to this video. Nothing went according to plan. And when you're barbecuing, that happens. So none of the temperatures got reached in the time we were allotted, and all of the other activities we had going on, because if you can imagine, my birthday, Anna and Ray's anniversary, going out for dinner that night with my son and his girlfriend. Yeah, we didn't have time to do any of that stuff the way we wanted it to. So instead of letting it get to temperature, wrapping it, letting it get up to temperature, pulling it off, letting it rest overnight, pulling it the next morning after it warmed up and cooled down, none of that happened. So we called a few audibles, and what we ended up doing is, while we went out for dinner, we let it cook in the oven to get it to temperature. Then we let it cool, and then we pulled it that night, put it in the roaster, put it in the refrigerator overnight. The next morning, put it in the roasting pan to serve it. And it warmed up that day and served it. You'll see the results in a moment. But I just wanted to fill you guys in on the variables, that none of it worked out quite the way we had planned. Nevertheless, the results are in the next part of the video. You'll see. Take a look. It's 10 o'clock Friday night. These things have been resting for a long time. But man, take a look at this. These are our pork butts. We have let them rest, and we decided, a little advice from my son, that we're going to pull them tonight. They're about 140, 145 degrees. Take a look at that. You want to talk about tender meat? There's your bone. Clean out of the meat. Here's the other bone. Come here, bone. Look at that. You can't get much better than that. See, ooh, that's still hot in the middle, though. Holy cow. I was going to let them rest overnight, but I think Mike says that I should pull them now. And, yeah. How do you like me now? Anyway, we're going to get to pulling these and then try to get some sleep tonight, because tomorrow is going to be a busy day. We'll let them rest in the juices overnight. We're going to actually put them in the roaster, so when we warm them up tomorrow, they'll be ready to eat. So we're going to put these to bed and then get ourselves to bed. Say goodnight, Anna.
Good night.
I'll say it right.
All right, good night, Anna.
Good night, Anna. There you go. See you in the morning, everybody. Well, it's Saturday. We're at the shop. Some are at the meet and greet already. And the dogs are barking too. So we're already eating, getting things rolling here. I did want to show you the end result. Pulled pork. Turned out absolutely phenomenal. We've already been eating some, but it is absolutely amazing. Juicy, tender, as you can imagine. Like it should be. So, turned out great. It took forever to get through the stall last night. That's why we ended up pulling it at 10 o'clock. Yeah, Shaq, it's very, very good, we know. Shaq likes it too. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the video, checking it out. We had a great time making that. The overnight rest was worth it. Turned out incredible. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you being here. Please, like Shaq says, like, share, subscribe, ring a ding the bell notification, comment below. Let us know what you thought of the video. We greatly appreciate that. And as you guys know, we made pulled pork with a very long rest. You guys can do it too. Give it a try. See you next time.